So I just got to get this. I can't find a place that's quiet that doesn't have somebody watching football or doing some project. So I was talking about reading Gregory Bateson's book Mind and Nature being slightly more complex an idea than James Lovelock's book. And I really recommend anybody who has any interest in science and particular systems and wants to understand how the world really works. There are a lot worse places you could start than reading James Lovelock's Gaia book, the first one he wrote, and Gregory Bateson's book Mind and Nature. And the other book that I was reading at the same time, and again because it's very, very laboured, it's a very thick book. It was Douglas Hofstadter's book Gödel, Escher, Bach, which has a theme running all the way through it, the theme of holism and reductionism, which he finds totally mysterious, basically. But if you read Lovelock and see how reductionist science treats whole systems and kind of misses the point, and you read Mind and Nature and you see how somebody who has a background in psychology and anthropology approaches problems of how to analyze whole systems, then you'll get a very much better idea of what the book Gödel, Escher, Bach should have been. And that actually brings me right back to 2009 when I came to Bolivia. One of my project was to climb a bunch of mountains, because there's some good mountains here. I'm not there anymore. It was to climb a bunch of mountains, and it was to write the next Gödel, Escher, Bach, which would be a book which I decided would make a lot of people suddenly get really interested in computer science and in science in general and in mathematics. And it would put a lot of this stuff straight. And that's really all I was trying to do when I came to Bolivia. But I won't talk about that now. I was going to talk about personal experience of understanding stuff at an intellectual level and experience, but I don't think it means anything. It really doesn't. It doesn't mean anything if people don't know how to behave decently. The system kind of relies on that. People don't know how to behave like decent human beings. That's the problem. And that's not something that's natural. People say, it's the nature of man to be greedy and shitty. It's not. It has to be taught. It has to be taught to children. You have to learn. Quite later on in life, you have to learn to not give a shit about the wider effects of what you do, to look after yourself first. Because if you don't, you get fucked. You end up fucked. And you want to see what fucked is, you just look at what happened to my life, because I tried to live like a decent human being.